And here we are for race 3 of the 1600 heats, Groups A and C at Wakefield Park 2012 Formula Vee National titles, sponsored by DMW Brick Lane.
Great start there from, is that Reynolds on, yep, Reynolds on Kinsella. I think that's Jason Williamson there and Stubbs as well on the inside.
Great group of cars here, Daniel Reynolds
actually, Kinsella's
leading.
on pole and he's falling back and forth.
That's right, not a great start unfortunately. The two Beecham racing cars, the aqua blue coloured cars in second and third.
There's Thomas there in fifth and there's Gary Hook and there's Timmy Brook. Okay, so heading up the hill here, Daniel Reynolds leads from,
that's Jason Williamson and Matt Stubbs. Jason in second place, New South Wales driver. Okay, there's
Phil Gardner and
Lee Porter. We can see there in the yellow Jacer in about 15th place. Okay, the cars coming through single file.
There's
except
Simon Pace.
There's Tim Brook going down the inside of Gary Hook. Otherwise, all the other cars single file. There's Lachlan Higgins in the silver elephant, the silver sabre. Sorry, just gone through again. He's recovering from a spin in the previous heat the day before.
Yep. Okay, so there's Phil Gardner from Victoria, Lockie Higgins, Lee Porter. Coming down the straight for the end of the first lap, there's Daniel Reynolds has got a little car length or two on Williamson, Stubbs, Kinsella, Thomas.
Okay, Dylan Thomas is in 6th place, 5th place in this group. I'm sure he'd want to be higher up.
Everyone always wants to be higher up.
Of course, particularly Dylan. But still, it's nose-to-tail stuff here. Very small gaps between all these cars regardless anyway. So Daniel Reynolds...
Dylan's off the track.
And Dylan too quick, but great recovery.
If the earlier race was anything to go by, I'm sure the boot was kept in it as well.
Great recovery. So, would that have been a case of just keeping it foot on the throttle for a bit too long through that corner?
Yeah, well, he was losing a couple of car lengths to that group anyway, so I think he was probably just trying hard to keep with him. Simon Pace has got the opportunity now to catch the toe and go with him now and see if the pair of them will work together to head back forward.
Well, Daniel Reynolds just smoothly pulling away bit by bit by bit through each corner.
There's Phil Oakes ahead of Timmy Brook in the CXC Global sponsored week car for the second round in a row for Timmy Brook.
Okay, there we've got Mark McHenry in the Craig Conlon owned white and blue Jacer. There's Lee McGarvey we just saw for a fraction of a second in the blue Jacer.
Lee McGarvey's a lot further forward in this race than he was in the other one.
3 wide through the kink. Michael Kinsella goes from 4th to 2nd in one corner.
Let's see if he can go after Daniel Reynolds now.
It's good slip streaming on his part obviously.
Okay.
Now there's Gary Hook, the sky blue car with Tim Brook and
Phil Oakes.
Phil Oakes on their tail, Mark McHenry. Now that's great driving from Gary, but Tim Brook, I don't know why he's got that far back because I thought he had a very good finish in the heat before.
I think he must have had a very good start because right from the word go he was back a little bit and sort of struggling. So yeah, maybe his pressures were down, maybe his plugs was fouled. I don't know. Maybe he just missed the start.
Right, but Gary Hook there, we were just talking about Simon Pace ahead of him. Now on the tail of Dylan Thomas. Dylan recovering from his lose. Didn't lose much time there at all. If you can look at the gap ahead of him up to Matt Stubbs.
Well, it's enough of time to lose the toe.
It is. You lose the toe, but that can be gained if a few things go his way with the cars up ahead of him.
Yeah, a bit of battling can always work in favours. So there's Lee McGarvey coming back. He's had the year off. I think he went overseas for his work or something, and came back at mid-season or something. So.
And also a new father again. So, but it's his first drive in nearly 2 years. Great to have you back.
So Jason Williamson's still ahead of Stubbs here. So the ring-in is ahead of the I guess you could call him the factory guy in that team.
That's right. The one race meeting lease driver. Showing the fast driver how to go, but we'll see whether that continues for the whole weekend, of course.
I think what might happen there is Williamson might actually show Stubbs how to drive a car, and Stubbs might have a better chance of the final.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, the old master teaching the young student, isn't it? So,
yeah, that's right.
Speaking of old masters, Michael Kinsella safely got this lead. It looks like he hasn't really been challenged since the first couple of moves.
Well, Reynolds has got the lead.
That's right, but for that position, so leading that group. So let's see if he can just consolidate that spot further for the remaining part of this weekend, this race meeting.
Yeah, okay, so Dylan's got a car length on Simon Pace. He'll probably pull that back down the straight here now, actually probably get a good toe. And then you've got Timmy Brooks now got past Gary Hook behind him as well. Gary Hook's actually lost place.
Right, and Matt Stubbs taking Jason Williamson down the inside in the 2-10
Gary Hook's falling behind Phil Oakes as well, that's what I was thinking before.
That's right, Gary's lost 2 spots there.
So what did you say? The Master's now ahead against the Stewards?
That's right, well they've swapped positions now, so the lease drivers is obviously following instructions.
Yeah.
Jason
Matthew is faster.
That's right, but Jason Williamson, a great Formula V driver over the last few years, just having a couple of years off, and just thought he'd have a crack in a top car at the top title of Australian Formula V racing.
Well, he was actually in a month and a half ago at the V8 round in Mark Williams' car, which is currently being driven by two-time national champion Jason Cutts.
So, but obviously Jason keen to keep racing. Can't keep away after all.
Yes. Oh, well, I guess sometimes when you get an opportunity, you've got to sometimes jump at it. So I know Jason also did a lot of work on that car to try and, I guess, make it a little bit better on the turn-in, from what I understand.
Right, okay, and Dylan Thomas, Simon Pace, Tim Brook, Phil Oates and Gary Hook going through there.
Okay, so Phil Oates actually had a bit of a look on the inside to Timmy Brook, but Timmy Brook was up to the task and actually drove away from him on the exit. Here you go, Mark McHenry.
With Lee McGarvey, will he go around the outside of him, this flat kink? No, so New South Wales, Victoria, New South Wales, New South Wales, New South Wales, obviously the local state dominating this field, not just in numbers but also towards the front.
Well, you know, local knowledge on a circuit always is beneficial, and
that was Michael Kinsella. No, just going down the
Lee Porter,
inside of Lee Porter, who's.
I wonder if Lee's got a problem. He was particularly slow through there.
Well, Lee would have to have a problem. It's unimaginable that he'd be lapped in a race, so yeah, things not going his way.
Jason Williamson up the inside of Matt Stubbs, showing him how it's done.
Okay, team orders coming into play there, no doubt.
Maybe they're just working together to use the slipstream down the straight to try and get the run back up to Kinsella.
Right, and Daniel Reynolds now with a lead of about 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds over Michael Kinsella as they go across the top of the hill.
Stubbs is looking racy here. Actually, these two came together in qualifying. So, you know, you have to be careful that they don't come together in a heat, because it can cost both of the team cars for, you know, start position for the third heat for themselves and for the final.
Right, so things settling down slightly, just small groups of cars throughout this lap at the moment. But Dylan Thomas, although he's got Simon Pace on his tail, Simon doesn't seem to be pressuring Dylan too much.
Well, not at the moment, but, you know, Simon might just be biding his time, waiting for the, you know, all-important last lap. So, you know, that's the only lap that matters.
Okay, there we are on camera, the two Team Beecham aqua blue coloured cars.
Okay, there's Reynolds. There's the gap. 2, 3, 4, 5-ish seconds to Kinsella. A couple of seconds back to the pair of these guys. Stubbsy didn't get the toe down that time. Thomas actually got a car length to Pacey there. Timmy Brook holds off a charge from Phil Oates. Gary Hook is just behind the pair of these guys. He's lost a couple of car lengths. Thought he might have pulled that up in the toe.
Well, he probably just lost the aerodynamic toe through there now.
Okay, so the Beecham cars coming down to the fish hook here. Jason Williamson ahead of Matty Stubbs. Turning in a little puff of smoke on the downshift. Thomas and Pace next through. Okay, so this is a little bit of a processional race here. Everyone's sort of playing it safe, not doing anything silly, keeping sure that the car's nice and straight for the next heat, and make sure you get good finishing positions.
Well, that's right. Most of the cars lost the opportunities of making up lots of spots now that things have settled down.
That's right. So it's a bit of a patience battle now. Look, they're in groups of two, so you're really fighting between your two. And if you end up fighting a lot, all you can do is slow yourself down and take yourself back to the next group.
Well, that's right. Or take risks, lose control, go off the track, and finish further back in the next heat.
Here you go. Stubbs goes past Jason Williamson, but these two are working together. If you notice what they're doing, they're not fighting anywhere. Oh, there you go. Pace against Thomas, and Thomas wants to come back, and this is not smart.
Well, we'll see. That is slowing them down, but are they side by side through that kick going up the hill? We've just lost the camera for a second, but we'll see in a second. Looks like Dylan Thomas made it around the outside of Simon Pace.
Going up the hill there. That's an unusual spot.
That's a very risky move to do, but something that we know has never deterred Dylan Thomas.
But in saying, going back to the point before, the two Beecham cars in front, they're working together quite nicely, only passing down the straight, you know, utilising the rest of the track to sort of just follow each other. A much faster way to do it. Whereas if you start racing at other parts of the circuit, you're just going to slow yourself down.
Okay, one thing we haven't spoken about is this circuit itself, Wakefield Park Race Circuit. As you can see, it's located out in the farming areas, the grazing districts of Goulburn, which is about 200 kilometres south southwest of Sydney on the main highway between Sydney and Melbourne.
Here's Jason Williamson having a go back at Stubbs.
Okay, so
Working together, these two are.
third place, the two Beecham cars, third and fourth, and Jason Williamson consolidating that third place by the look of it.
Yeah, it's still too early to say. I mean, there's still a few laps to go, and you know, they're just working. Oh, Daniel,
that's it. Coming up behind the back marker.
Lee Porter.
Caught out by the
I
difference
wonder
in
if Lee
speed.
Porter's got some sort of drama going on. It's the second time he's gone past.
Well, no doubt he's got a drama because Lee you'd expect to see in the top 10, top 15 in any race, regardless. So he's just hoping to finish and score points, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure he doesn't get a DNF because the DNF, as was stated, there you go. Lee just pulled over and let the blue flag going on. Yeah, look how slowly he's going down that back straight. As you say, it looks like he's just trying to run around just to get a finish.
There we go. Look at that speed difference there.
He's got his hand in the air, just allowing the boys to know that he's letting them pass. Let's just see if he pulls in the pits here.
Maybe he's got a gear shift problem.
No, he keeps going down the straight. So definitely what he's doing is he wants to finish. He doesn't want a DNF because a DNF will mean, you know, no points.
Right,
Okay,
but Daniel Reynolds, a solid lead against Michael Kinsella as we see go through in the blue Jacer.
It would have been interesting to see if Kinsella could have run with Daniel if they had have been together from the start, because Daniel pulled a gap early while Kinsella was back in fourth place.
Well, you know, after this many laps, really, we're only talking about a fraction of a second per lap average speed time difference between Daniel and Michael. So, in these situations, I guess that's all you need to pull out a significant gap and demonstrate where your position might be in the pecking order for the 1600s.
Yeah, but in saying that, sometimes if your car's not quite quick enough, you can get pulled along by the car in front of you. So Kinsella may have been able to run with Daniel had he been getting towed along. So that'd be interesting to see a bit later in the weekend, actually. So, I mean, obviously we've seen that Benny and Daniel can run together. So I'd be interested to see if Kinsella and Daniel can run together in the right circumstances.
Well,
and then it comes down to racecraft. And Kinsella's been around a long time.
Well, yes, Michael will be known, one of the great Formula V drivers from New South Wales. So
which one's in front of this battle here now between the Beecham boys?
Well,
there's Thomas. That's a brand new car, a couple, about 6 weeks ago.
And Dylan Thomas, also another one of the great New South Wales drivers, perhaps the greatest ever. We may not know.
Daniel Reynolds, last lap.
Here we go.
Okay.
Michael Kinsella, easy second place at this stage.
Okay, here comes. Oh, look at this.
And the two Beecham cars racing.
So Jason Williams says now, last lap, I'm going to take it.
Now, don't tell me. Could you see two fingers up as Jason went through there? I might have seen that.
The LE 100. Oh, Gary Hook. Oh, he's touched Phil Oak. Oh.
Was that a bump from Gary Hook from behind?
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of bump drafting going on.
Gary, I didn't know.
I don't think either of them actually lost any positions.
I think Gary's been watching Jeff Gordon at NASCAR a bit too often. What do you think?
Yeah, so just touch the rear. Oh!
And Jason Williamson keeps his position. Dylan Thomas keeps his position. Simon Pace can't do anything about it. Matt Stubbs can't do anything about Jason Williamson.
No one's going to do anything about Daniel Reynolds. Look how far ahead he is.
Or Michael Kinsella.
Yeah, Kinsella's pretty safe in second there. Here comes this battle here with the Beecham cars and
Jason Williamson to the right-hand side.
Yes.
But not Dylan Thomas. Dylan confident that he'll keep his position.
Yeah,
he'll keep ahead of that. Simon Pace won't touch me, obviously.
Yeah, okay, but the exit of this corner and the run down the straight. So here's Reynolds takes the win of heat 3, I think. Heat 4.
That's correct.
Okay, Kinsella second. Oh, look at this, Stubbs and Williamson.
It looks like a Stubbs got Williamson.
I think Stubbs has got him.
Geez, what a shame for Jason Williamson, a podium position in one of his first races in an unfamiliar car. Dylan Thomas, Simon Pace,
Tim Brook. Actually, Tim Brook made heaps. Oh, I was about to say made heaps of time up on Phil Oakes and Gary Hook, but I forgot that they had a bit of rear end contact.
No doubt Gary will be rubbing that black rubber tyre off his nose, coming with a bit of turpentine a bit later. Okay. There's Mark McHenry through.
Okay, Lee McGarvey and Lockie Higgins as well. Lockie Higgins actually had a fairly quiet race by his standards.
Exactly, especially seeing he was so far up in the previous race meeting, the V8 Supercar.
Yeah, he qualified fourth at the V8 and you had a 40-odd car field.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is Phil Gardner from Victoria, stalwart.
In the JSAR.
And the troubled Lee Porter.
Official results for the DMW Bricklaying Race 3 Groups A and C. for the 1600s. First place, Daniel Reynolds for Vintage V Dub Supplies. Second place, Michael Kinsella for Dynamic Online Finance. Matt Stubbs, Beecham Racing. And the lease driver for this weekend, Jason Williamson for Beecham Racing.
Okay, fifth is 68, Dylan Thomas, CXC Team Stinger. Simon Pace, Pace HDD. Timmy Brooks, CXC Global. Okay, Phil Oakes from Victoria, the Coffee Clink.